thought I was living in a fairy tale. A man proposes to you under the Eiffel Tower. How romantic. Then he disappears like you never existed. It all started 2 years ago when I met my seemingly perfect fiancé. We'd been seeing each other for about a year and a half. Everything seemed fine on the outside. We were madly in love, or so I thought. He told me he loved me every day. He made me feel like the only girl in the world. He even met my parents and we were all celebrating our engagement. But then one day he confessed that he was hiding something from me. He said he wasn't being honest about some things. He was ashamed and he wanted to make it up to me. He took me on a surprise trip to Paris and that's where he proposed. We'd been dating for 2 years. It was amazing. He planned everything. Hotels, flights, restaurants. He even got the ring first. The first few days we were touring around the city, taking in the sights. On the second to last day, we went to the Eiffel Tower. This was where he popped the question. The moment will live in my memory forever. As the sun set over Paris, making the sky a beautiful orange, he got down on one knee and pulled out a velvet box. "Marry me," he whispered. I couldn't speak. I was in shock. The Eiffel Tower, it was perfect. I barely even looked at the ring. I just nodded my head. Yes. He slipped the ring on my finger and then he cried. I don't know why, but I joined in too. I was so happy. I kept replaying the moment in my head over and over again. When we returned home, we told both of our families about the engagement. Everyone was very supportive. All of our friends and families began to plan a joint engagement party. We were going to have so much fun, we could hardly wait. We spent the next 3 months shopping for wedding dresses and choosing caterers and discussing decorations. I couldn't wait to marry him. I was sure he was the one. I had finally found my happily ever after. But then he disappeared. We were getting ready for bed one night. We were watching TV. We were eating takeout. It was a normal Tuesday, and then he got a call. He told me it was his brother. He said he had to take the call outside. He came back looking somber. What did he say? I asked. He sat down next to me on the couch. He said he needs my help, he told me. He said he needed me to come to California to help him move. He was silent for a moment. How long for? I asked. A couple of weeks, he said. I was disappointed, but I understood. Of course, go help him, I told him. Family comes first. He gave me a grateful smile and kissed me. You're the best, he said. I'll call you when I get there. That was the last time I ever heard from him. At first, I thought it was no big deal. He'd called me every day since we met, so why wouldn't he call me now? Maybe his phone was dead, or maybe he was busy. I tried not to worry. But 2 days turned into 4 and still nothing. I tried calling him, but his phone went straight to voicemail. I left a bunch of messages. On the 3rd day, he still hadn't called me back. So I called his mother. Is everything okay? I asked. Why hasn't he called me back? She sounded confused. Why would you call me? You should ask him. He's an adult. I was stunned. Okay. I just thought, I started. He hasn't called me because he hasn't called you either, she said. What do you mean? I asked. His mother sounded concerned now. Where is he? I asked. We haven't heard from him either, she admitted. We were wondering the same thing. I thanked her for her help and hung up. Now I was really worried. Had something happened to him? Had he gotten in a car accident? Was he in a hospital somewhere? I didn't know what to think. I decided I needed to see him in person. I grabbed the first flight I could to California. I called him again and again and again on the plane ride. No answer. When I landed, I took a cab to his apartment. The apartment was empty. There were no signs of a struggle. Nothing had been overturned. It looked like he'd just suddenly vanished into thin air. I called his work. They said they hadn't seen him in over a week. His boss was concerned. Is everything all right? He asked. Mr. Williams has been absent from work for over a week. He hasn't answered any of our calls or emails. I told the boss that I was his fiancé and that I was trying to get in touch with him. We'll look into it, the boss promised. So I was alone in California, staying in a hotel, not knowing where my fiancé was or if he was even alive. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I was desperate for answers. Did he suddenly run out on me? Was he dead? Was he in a hospital somewhere? What happened? After a few days, I finally broke down and called my mom. She flew out to California and stayed with me. Together, we visited his apartment again. Still no sign of him. We went through his things. There were no clues, no hints as to where he could be. His bank account showed that he had moved money around, but he hadn't touched it himself. Like he was waiting for someone to use it, but who? We called the police, but they said there was nothing they could do. He hadn't committed any crimes, and we couldn't prove that anything had happened to him. They said he might just be on vacation. After 2 weeks of crying and confusion, I hired a private investigator. I needed to find him, to get answers. I owed it to myself. Maybe the police were right. Maybe he was just on vacation. I hope so. I really, really hope so. But deep down, I knew in my heart that something was wrong. The private investigator was able to track down my fiancé's cell phone. He was in Las Vegas. The private investigator also found out that he'd been living in Las Vegas for almost a month. And I finally got the answers I was looking for, but they were not the answers I wanted to hear. The private investigator found my fiancé in a hotel room. He was with a woman. And who was this woman? The woman he was with was his wife. Yeah, he was married. To find out how long he'd been married, the private investigator dug deeper and found out that he was married for over 5 years. 5 years. I couldn't believe it. How could I not have known? He even had 2 kids. 2 kids. He had a whole other life. A whole other family. The private investigator took pictures of him and his fake fiancé. He even saw the kids. They were so cute. I wanted to reach out and hold them, but I knew I couldn't. I couldn't get involved. My fiancé had been using me. He had tricked me. He had deceived me. He had lied to me for 2 years. He had stolen my money. He had pretended to love me. He had pretended to want to marry me. He had pretended I was the one. He wasn't sorry. The investigator said that he seemed very happy. Too happy. He was leading a double life and he was good at it. He was a serial con artist. He had done this before. He had met other women online and taken their money, pretending to love them. He made these women believe that they were getting married. But none of the women ever found out. Until me, I was the only one who figured it out. I was the only one who got away. I wish I could tell you that my story had a happy ending. I wish I could tell you that I found my happily ever after. But I can't. I lost thousands of dollars. I lost months of my life. But I gained knowledge. I learned to protect myself. If something feels off, trust your gut. Don't let anyone fool you. Don't let anyone deceive you. Don't let anyone trick you. Smash that like button and hit subscribe.